If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hello, everybody. Today, we will be talking about why DevOps is important and its benefits and challenges. First, we have disclaimer. Right, what's in the agenda? So we'll be looking at why DevOps is important, what are its benefits, what are the challenges, and finally, what's the future for DevOps? Where is it all heading, right? So why is DevOps important? Well, DevOps is mainly a mindset. We know that DevOps is a mindset that is needed by the organization to bring all the teams to work together and break silos and meet the common goals for a business, right? DevOps is the major of development as well as operations. And when you combine these two, what happens is it enables the faster development of newer products and, of course, the maintenance of existing deployments. Now, through the adoption of best practices, automation, as well as all the tools that are involved, DevOps in the end promotes a shorter and more controllable iteration of your development cycle. Now, with all enterprises getting into more and more complex solutions, and with the adoption of cloud-native applications and microservice-based architectures, where you have hundreds and hundreds of small services that communicate with each other and work, maintaining the life cycle for such complex solutions can become very difficult. In fact, in such a scenario, DevOps is not a luxury. It's not just bells and whistles. It is very important, and it becomes a bare necessity in order for your organization to be successful. When we think of an application cycle, where does it start? Well, you could think of the first aspect being the business planning, where you decide what are the goals of your business and what is the kind of solution that comes out of it. What are the features that comes out? These are then definitely translated into different tasks and backlogs, which different teams work together. And of course, when there are multiple teams involved, there is a lot of collaboration. The end goal, the end application would be a result of the collaborative development between all the teams. Now, once the solution is in place, you need to test it. You need to test whether it has met all the business goals, whether the quality is good, whether it's stable. So there's a lot of testing involved. And finally, when the solution is good, what happens? You release it. You release it and you deploy it so that customers can use it. Does that end the story? Of course not, right? Once the solution is out, you need to monitor it. You need to make sure that the solution is working properly. The customers are able to use the solution. You need to be able to show that it's always up and running and it is always available. So all the metrics, all the monitoring that you do is used along with whatever feedback that you get from the customers. And all of this is once again taken back into a new feature or an improvement, which end of the day goes back into business cycle, right? It's a business planning again. So this whole thing is one big cycle, and DevOps makes sure that this thing becomes very seamless and easy. The whole adoption rate for DevOps, when we see as a market evaluation, we see that it has been around 6.5 billion in 2022. And according to industry ARC, this is going to go up to around 12.5 billion by 2025. So what does DevOps bring into the picture? Well, first of all, shorter development life cycle, right? With all the automation and all the best practices, it ensures this. The next aspect is reduce development failures, deployment failures, all kinds of failures, and also rollbacks, right? With all the monitoring that is involved, you are able to make sure that the time to recover in case of any kind of disaster or failure is significantly reduced. Now, the DevOps in itself is a mindset, and it's a mindset that improves communication and to a great degree enhances the collaboration between all the teams. And of course, with all the best practices that need to be followed and adopted, you are significantly increasing the efficiency. Of course, automation and best practices both take care of this. Finally, in the long term, what happens is it reduces costs in terms of time, in terms of improving the efficiency, and of course, reducing the headcount, right? So if you sum up all the benefits, there are lots of it. When you think about automation, it ensures that you have a shorter development cycle, it improves efficiency, better user experience because of being able to quickly gather all the feedback, faster updates. With automation, you are saving costs, you're definitely reducing the time to recover because of all the monitoring. So all in all, you get a lot of benefits when you implement DevOps in your organization. So let's look at it from a business perspective. When you think of DevOps from a business perspective, the main aim or the goal of implementing DevOps is to optimize, right? You are trying to optimize everything. And how are you doing that? By breaking all the silos, whether it's IT, whether it's the development team, or whether it's the business team. The whole idea is to make this collaboration whole and fruitful. And DevOps makes sure that this becomes lean and straightforward. And once you bring automation into the picture, it maximizes this efficiency, right? The mindset of DevOps is collaboration, whether it's the engineering team or the security team or the IT team. This collaboration, plus the fact that each team starts to think on how they can automate everything. How can you make sure that you're able to bring more software releases? How are you able to make them more reliable, more secure? How are you able to bring in all the tests that are possible? All these things together ensures that your solution excels in what it does and also meets your business goals. Now, just as a coin has two sides, everything has its own challenges, right? And DevOps too has its own challenges. The first one is we know that DevOps is automation, and we know that DevOps relies on data, which means you need to have the right metrics in place. If you don't have the right metrics, it becomes very difficult to identify the areas that need improvement, the areas that need to be fixed. And on the contrary, if you really have bad metrics in your system, it's going to wreak havoc. Your DevOps implementation is a disaster. Along with this, you need to make sure that your goals are realistic. For example, you cannot go and promise your customer 100% uptime, availability. No, that is unrealistic. All systems are bound to failure. This is something that you know, the customer knows. Your goal is to make sure that it can be reduced. How can it be handled properly? And coming up with KPIs that are realistic to your business goals as well as the customer's needs. And most importantly, if your DevOps implementation still keeps all the teams that are involved in silos, then it's a half-baked solution, or more or less, I would say it's again a disaster. So make sure that your implementation improves the collaboration between all these teams, which is what the end goal is. Complexity. When you are bringing in a new solution, there is a change involved. And when you're trying to bring in DevOps, of course, it can be a challenge, whether it's for the IT leaders or the business leaders. This can become something of a very, very big challenge to bring in. There's a lot of automation involved. There's a lot of process that needs to be streamlined. This becomes difficult. And when you think of all the tools that are required, you can think of all the maintenance it needs, the troubleshooting. How do you interface all these tools? These things can become very complex, very fast. And to add to that, time and money are finite. These are limited resources. So with the given time and with the given funds, you need to be able to come up with the best solution possible. So with all these challenges in place, where is DevOps going? Well, all enterprises are going with cloud native solutions. So DevOps is going to play a very major role. So much so that with all the data and metrics collected, DevOps is going into other phases. For example, you have AI ops, which means adding in artificial intelligence. AI is used to calculate all the requirements for your operations using all the data it's got. And to that, you also have DevSecOps, which means security first, bringing in all the best practices in terms of security in your application. Security becomes a first-hand citizen in all your development. So with all this in place, DevOps, the way forward, has a big role. And it is very important that you bring in as much as of automation and as much as DevOps into the picture. Thank you.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.